Hello, pre-K families. Welcome to the Department of Exceptional Education's information session. My name is Amy Corbin, and I'm the Exceptional Education Early Childhood Lead. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you some guidance about our team's live event. A Q&A time will happen at the end of this presentation. Use the live event Q&A box to ask questions. The box is at your top right corner and it has a little question mark on it. The questions are moderated and will not appear instantly. Please only ask a question once. The answer may be delayed. If your child is currently attending an MNPS program, some questions will need to be directed to your child's teacher or school's principal. If your computer freezes, try exiting and then re-entering. Live captions of this presentation are available in Spanish and Arabic. Click on the settings, it's a wheel or tool icon at the bottom right corner of the screen to select your language caption. Now I want to introduce LaRonda Cawthorn, who is the director of South Nashville's elementary schools. She is going to talk to you a little more about exceptional education services in kindergarten. LaRonda?
Thank you, Amy. Good afternoon, families. Again, my name is Dr. LaRonda Cawthorn, and I am one of the elementary special education directors with the MNPS Exceptional Education Department. I am so excited to be here with you today to talk about transitioning to kindergarten for students with disabilities. We know that transitioning to kindergarten may be a little scary, but I want to reassure you that the Exceptional Education Department goes over and beyond to support all of our families. To ensure we do not run into any connectivity issues, I'm going to turn off my camera now, and I will present with my camera off for the remainder of this presentation. Before we get into the good stuff, I want to share a little bit about our department. Who are we? Here's a quick look at the leadership team within the Exceptional Education Department. Debbie McAdams is our fabulous executive director, and as I mentioned, I'm the director who supports the elementary schools in the south quadrants of our district, and Dr. Lisa Bilton supports the elementary schools in the north quadrants of our district. The Department of Exceptional Education's vision is to work collaboratively to enhance educational opportunities for students with exceptionalities. Our mission is to collaborate with schools, families, and community agencies to develop successful learners in the least restrictive environment. Our district's definition of inclusive education is that inclusive education views diversity as the norm and ensures a high-quality education for every student by setting rigorous standards and providing effective instruction along with the necessary supports for success. We believe in inclusive education and stress the importance of identifying accommodations and/or modifications to support students in their least restrictive environment. As you may already know, our district provides supports and services to students who meet eligibility requirements in many areas, from autism to intellectually gifted. If you would like more information regarding the eligibility areas in Tennessee, please contact your child's school and they will guide you to the appropriate representative. No matter what the disability may be, our district is committed to ensuring that your child receives a free, appropriate education in their least restrictive environment with services and supports as listed in their individualized education program, also referred to as an IEP. When referring to least restrictive environment, or LRE, it means that special education instruction, which is the most intensive intervention, must be provided to students with disabilities in the least restrictive environment. Students with disabilities are educated with their peers to the maximum extent appropriate, and unless a student's IEP requires other arrangements, students with disabilities must be educated in the school they would attend if they did not have a disability. Here is an example of our inclusive model continuum of services to provide you with a visual of how the most intensive interventions are implemented within our district. As you can see, the blue area is the general education setting with no direct special education services or supports from a special education staff member or related service provider. The general education teacher implements the accommodations in the general education setting, as well as collaborate and/or consult with a special educator or related service provider about your students' needs. The green area is direct special education and/or related services provided in the general education setting. A special education staff member or related service provider goes into the general education setting for an agreed upon time to provide services and supports as listed in the IEP. The yellow area is direct special education services and/or related services provided in a special education setting for a small portion of the school day. The orange area is direct special education services and/or related services provided in a special education setting for the majority of the day. And lastly, the red area is the most restrictive services, such as our special day schools and homebound. As you can see, this inclusive model is a continuum, and services and supports may change as a student's needs change. And of course, services and supports are determined by an IEP team, which includes you as the parent. One question that consistently drives our work is how can we ensure students with disabilities in kindergarten have equitable access to core content? Core content are those core subjects that includes English language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies that are aligned with state standards and district goals. So this slide is a visual of the continuum of services, with special education being the most intensive on the continuum. Tier 1 instruction includes all students. All students in kindergarten will be a part of Tier 1 instruction, having access to core content that is differentiated to meet diverse learning needs. As you can see, the supports become more specific and intense as students move on the continuum. One key point to note is that no matter where a student may fall on the continuum, whether they are receiving Tier 2 intervention, Tier 3 intervention, or special education intervention, which is the most intensive support, they will have access to Tier 1 instruction to the maximum extent appropriate as determined by the IEP team. To recap, in addition to equitable access to core content, students will receive special education, also referred to as EE intervention and services, to the maximum extent appropriate as outlined in their IEP. Your child transitioning to kindergarten may present the unknown for many of you, but we want to reassure you that your child will be supported. We have the MNPS district overall, the Department of Exceptional Education, we have special education coaches, school level principals and staff, special educators, general educators, we have related service providers, and we have school psychologists. We are all here to support our students with disabilities. Well, I believe my time is up. Thank you again for spending this time with me today, and I will now turn it over back to Amy Corbin. Thank you.
Thank you. Here are some MNPS and Department of Education resources. We are now going to open up the Q&A box for some questions. Since we may not get to all of the questions, please feel free to email or call EE questions listed at the bottom of the slide. And we'll take a minute because it takes just a second for some of the questions to show up. Well, I see that we don't have any questions, so if you think of something that you would like to ask the EE department later, again, please feel free to email or call EE questions that's listed at the bottom of this slide. And thank you so much to our pre-K families, and we are super excited that your little ones are going to kindergarten. Goodbye.